good, y'all? It's your boy Herb,
And it's your girl Mo.
and welcome to our soon-to-be world-renowned podcast, Young, Black, and Figuring It Out. What up, though?
What it do?
Whatever.
We tell it.
You
You feel me?
Yeah, we're going to have to go back episodes and figure out when did that actually become like a part of the intro?
Like the regular?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because now it's like every time people used to it.
Yeah, that had been somewhere in season 1.
Think so?
We should do a marathon.
Y'all should do a marathon. If you're listening or watching, hit a marathon all the episodes. It won't take you that long. It's about 2 days.
You know what?
Feel me?
Okay. Right.
Yo, like we do at this time, unless we got a special guest, which today we don't. So it's just us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in for a treat. But first, before we dive into this topic, it's going to be an amazing and really important, timely topic. What did we figure out this week?
I ain't gonna lie. That took me a while to figure out. I think I've been figuring out so many things I couldn't put into words, which took me a while. I was like, I don't know. I mean, this and then that and then that. But I think most importantly is meaning what you say and saying what you mean. Like being very clear on your words and having the follow through attached to it. So if you said you're going to do something for someone or be there for someone or whatever the case may be, it is so important that you actually do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think your word is your bond. And nowadays that really has fallen to the wayside. You know, people just be saying anything.
Yeah.
And like, I used to get confused because if I'm saying something to you, I'm really like dead serious. I'm going to try my absolute best to make sure this happens. And I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that.
Yeah. But
But I've met enough people where they'll say something and I'll ask you sometimes like, oh yeah, they said da-da-da. You're like, you ain't never gonna hear from them again. More often than not, I don't hear from them again.
Right.
You know, and it's like heartbreaking or it's hurtful. And I believe it's not really intentional.
Right.
I don't think people are out there just trying to say anything and make someone feel any type of way.
Yeah.
But it's so frequent because we just be saying anything.
Anything.
It's like, nah.
Yo,
Like
yeah.
some people say you lose the meaning of what love is because anybody just be saying it nowadays. It's like, yeah, make your words mean something
Yeah.
when you say them.
Yeah, that's dope. Funny, one of my old players, he used to say, he's from Detroit too. And, people used to go back and forth about who better, who gonna do this. His favorite line, or one of his favorite lines was, people be saying anything, like just saying stuff. And you know what though? That stuck with me, even though he didn't know that. Like, oh yeah, people do just be anything. At any time. It's like, nah, you gotta have some weight behind the words.
Right.
Yeah, because back in the day, at least that's what I hear. Like, I don't know how valid this was, but so many like contracts were like verbal contracts,
Yeah.
like handshake agreements.
Right.
Because your word meant something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. A level of trust. I love that. And it doesn't really exist with too many people no more.
Man, but you figured that out. It's like, yo, that's important.
Yeah,
Not
and-
necessarily that you.
But like for me personally, because
gotcha.
especially now with the job I'm doing, I notice if I say something, like they are expecting. And I'm like, I have to hold to this. And it's not like it's not a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to write this down because I'm going to forget. But like my goal is to try and help as much as possible. And I've learned to not just say what I hope to do if I
Yeah.
don't know if it's even possible. I'll be like, I'm going to try my best. Let me look into that.
Yeah. For sure.
You know, give yourself a little pause and then actually follow through with it.
Yeah, that's good. I love that one. Okay, good. I think
you.
that's valid for everybody too.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What'd you figure out?
What I figure out, what was getting figured, you feel me? I would honestly say just the importance of stillness, like the power of stillness. You know, there's success through stillness. I read a book called that actually. I want to say, was it Russell Simmons? His is about meditation, but just kind of that thought process of stillness. So, and actually, you had mentioned this to me the other day. I was talking about some stuff going on in my workplace. And like, yeah, you are doing what you can do. Like you do what you can do, and then the rest would be out of your control. And so you need to just show up ready. But then, kind of like from that though, it's this calmness, peace, the stillness. Oh yeah, what's gonna happen is gonna happen. And I think that's important in so many places. If you can and I think of stillness as like being mentally stable, mentally calm, composed, because there's so much chaos in any section of the world. Like you could be driving and it could be chaos. You could be, in the school and it's chaos. You could be at work. You could be in whatever.
Right.
Church. It could be chaos, right?
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, I think having a still and calm mind is so important. And it's like it's a strong success in that. And the people who I think are successful can do that. Like they can actually be still in the midst of like a period of life where there's a lot of chaos, or a lot going on, you know, or like a moment, you know, an interaction, they can kind of still and be calm.
Right.
So, and I think that comes from, same way you had said, like, your job is to prepare.
Right.
I think that comes from just being prepared in life and then having this level of security, you know? Like, yeah, I'm be calm here because I know the result is going to work itself out. Like, what's going to happen is going to happen. I've done what I can do.
Right.
And I'm here.
Because that, like, insecurity, sometimes people force things and try to make it into something and have to prove and show. And it's like, nah. And, you know, you grow up hearing in church, be still and know that I am God. It's like, and I never knew what that meant until I became an adult. Like, oh, be still. Like, don't, you ain't got to force it. You got it. Let it just relax, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a scripture line?
Might be
Man,
a song.
I might not have been listening that day.
Be still.
Oh, okay. Bro was on his phone. He wasn't even. No, I'm playing.
But I think that might be a Pentecostal song. But anyway.
Okay. All right. Hey, yeah, that's a whole different space. Still valid though. But yeah, I hear that. So I think that's important for me. And you know, when I don't do that, it's tangent. When I don't do that with the like that security, when I'm trying to like force things and not being still, like trying to push, it's like the opposite effect.
Right.
Comes from that. Like, you know, I overdo it and people can feel it. Like, all right, you know, you're doing the most. So it's like, nah, I'm just gonna be still. I've done what I can do. The rest can be, and that means you'd have to do that part though. Do what you can do. But then the rest, you know,
play your role.
Play your role. Feel me?
Yeah. What they say? What's for you is for you. So
you
ain't gotta force nothing. Yeah.
Valid, y'all. You feel me? Okay. Yes. So that's dope.
Yes.
That's real dope.
Look at us growing.
You know. So, speaking of growth, actually, no, this doesn't really tangent, but you can correlate just a little bit. We got an amazing conversation today. I actually want to get into like some multiple parts of this, like the framework of how this like is taught into like for us, and then like culturally, how we think that's communicated from our lived experience, and then like what are we seeing and some of the stats that I got here, and then how do we like live this in our daily lives. But the conversation is really about health and fitness in the Black community. Right? Or health and fitness in general. So, and with a real focus on like physical fitness, and it would surely branch off into other pieces because they're all connected.
Yes, they
but
are.
Definitely want to talk about the health and fitness physically, right?
Yeah.
So I guess a good place to start is like, for us, like you always do, like what was our experience or exposure to like physical fitness, or like the priority around that, or how did that look for us?
Like growing up and things?
Growing up.
There was no, like it was not a priority. It was not a thing. I had never played a sport. I should have played sports, but I didn't play any.
You would have been cold too.
You know?
What you would have played?
I think soccer would have been my thing.
Really?
Yeah. You see me run on my toes sometimes and whatnot. I just have a fast feet type of energy.
Yeah,
and
happy feet.
When I did camps when I was younger, day camps of course, there was a few times when we played like little things. They were just like instructional because I was young. And they're like, oh, you got some, good footwork. And I was like, hey, me. I also could have done boxing.
Oh, you got them hands. Yeah.
It's like I got good form. I don't know if my punches land like they should, but.
The form there, the technique is right. Once you get the rest of it down, yeah, people going to sleep.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
But yeah, no, that was not a thing. I was not encouraged to work out or to get into any sort of involvement sports-wise. And then, eating was just, you eat what you're fed. It wasn't, it's like, I would like to say the focus was to make sure it was balanced, but it was just making sure we're fed. And there was,
same. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of examples did you see when it came to physical fitness, as far as like both good, bad, or just the implicit things? Like what would you pick up on, you think?
I saw it more as like a reactive thing. So like, because, I think I'm putting on weight, so let me start, like, those short-term goals, like a New Year's resolution thing would happen. Yeah. We lift in weights for a few weeks, and, there's a bench to, I don't know, do sit-ups for a few weeks. It would happen every so often, but it really was never a major part of conversation or focus. I do remember I have an uncle who was in the military, and he had put his daughter, my cousin, in karate, and she was also like at family functions, be like, look how many push-ups she could do. It was very clear I could not do any. So it's one of those like, dope, let me back away because
I'm out, y'all.
That's not something we be doing over here. You know what I mean? It's just, it was like, it came up every so often, but never Never anything pushed or
I got you.
There was no gym memberships. There was nothing.
Yeah,
like that.
okay, for sure. That make a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah, I know he's an athlete.
So yeah.
So it's very different over there.
I feel like man, my home life in general, when I think about examples of anything, was so like it was so vast. Like, there was so many different perspectives and ways. You know what I'm saying? In some ways, like that was very beneficial. And in some ways, it was a little difficult that things were so different. Like with the multiple families and all that.
Yeah.
So from if I broke it down, I say living with my mom's, and she prioritized, even like right now, she's a fitness like guru right now.
Mom's looks good.
Mom's getting it. You feel me? That wasn't always the case. It was like float up and down. So at some point in time, like she was always an athlete though. She played basketball in high school. This is before they had women's college basketball though, so she couldn't go to college, but she might have been able to.
Oh, that's dope.
Yes, in the family for me. And then I hooped. So I was an athlete from young, like 4th, 5th grade. So at home, I don't know if it was ever like specifically talked about, like physical fitness and like your health and all of that wasn't specifically talked about. It was just implied through sports and what I saw and what I got from being around my coaches and watching the athletes and watching people in college or in the professionals. I'm watching them, and so it was like implied that you have to be physically fit. I also wanted to be physically fit because it just felt good to look good type thing, and I wouldn't express it that way back then, but that's what it was. Like, yeah, I'm swole out here. Felt good, So at least I thought I would. I look back at pictures like, man, brother was small, but you felt small. So, and even like growing up, like we had one of the guys who my mom's knew, his name was Billy Johnson. He used to train, he trained NFL teams. Now, I never seen him there. I see some pictures, so I'm pretty sure he does. I think so, you feel me? But so we used to get workouts with him.
Dope.
And so he was like training us, and he had me like on point. Like I was doing Olympic lifts and all that stuff. So from a young age, physical fitness was a big deal. And my stepdad was in the special forces. So he, when you coming out of any type of military, that is kind of on your mind. So you're
conditioned.
Yeah, he didn't necessarily educate on that either.
Right.
That's the thing. There was no education on stuff. Like it wasn't like, here's why you do this. Here's what we gonna do. Here's a plan. It was just like, usually, figure it out. So I don't want to do that with people after me. Like I want to, like, this is the why.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna be in the refrigerator. Here's why. We're gonna have the healthy, but it was just like, what's going on is what's going on. So it was always around me. So for really, like, as far as like working out, being fit, that's like since like 7th grade, 6th grade, or before.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Which is, now you say that, I was like, oh snap, my mom was an athlete. She played netball, which is,
hey, what's that?
So it's different in the Caribbean. They didn't like basketball. You don't dribble the ball or whatever. You do a lot of passing, I believe. I never watched it. So,
I never passed. I passed.
She threw shot put. She threw javelin. But this
Mom's
is all
javelin?
this is all in Barbados, right? So I'm like, oh, different culture, different place, different opportunities there. Not as much availed in Brooklyn. So again, I ain't do nothing. I'm sorry. I wanted to.
Dang, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
And the genetics, though.
That's why I would have been so good, because clearly she birthed me. But anyway.
Yeah, so you would have had to pass that on. Okay, so it was not as much in your upbringing.
Nah.
Okay. Definitely your mind as far as like seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
How that converge. Okay, interesting. And
right?
yeah, it was funny. When you think about like physical activity in the Black communities in general, because we had talked about this off camera, when I think of like a physical specimen in general, like what we think of physicality, someone like fit and healthy, I think of Black folks.
Athleticism, definitely.
Yeah, like I really do.
Every Olympics, I tell you.
Yo.
I'll be there like, track and field? Let's see us go. Because that's us. You know what I mean? It's like each one of them is representing us. Yeah.
Yeah, we really we learn that way. We are a kinesthetic culture in general. Like all movement, of that.
Dance, rhythm.
That's so, I think of that. And so to know some of the stats, when you look at physical fitness and physical activity in the Black communities, is actually less than, or what people count as physical activity, less than their white counterparts by a significant number. And so if you look at the rates of things like how they measure obesity, now we also got to talk about, that's a whole nother conversation,
Ain't
right?
it?
Like the BMI and all that.
Yeah.
But black folks have a higher rate of obesity, specifically black women, than their white counterparts, right? And so it's interesting that that's the case, but we're such a physical culture in that way, like when it comes to health and fitness. But I know that goes to some of the structures and barriers around having access to things like that. So maybe we can talk to you growing up in Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? You know what I mean? You think about healthy spaces like parks and community centers and access to gyms and just all of that, like maybe going out to having space to go do things. Was that in your environment like that as much?
No. So like it existed, but you know, I had very protective parents and you could call them helicopter parents. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. And truth be told, it wasn't as though there was a park right behind us. Like there's a hospital right behind where we grew up, but it wasn't like the safest place.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like they'd ever feel comfortable letting us go out there by ourselves. They would take us, and it have to be during a certain amount of time, you know, during the day, because at night, I'm pretty sure they were selling drugs over there. There's a lot of stuff they shielded us from that I never had to be exposed to or see. Yeah. But it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like the best thing to do. There was a roller rink also not too far that I know a lot of kids went to who were my age, but we weren't allowed to go. And it definitely got shut down for like shootings. Like, there was just what could also lead to tragedy. So instead of risking our safety, we stayed in the house. We used to ride our bikes when we were little, you know, up and down the block, and my sister would try to roller skate, but I was too afraid and I would fall too much, so I didn't do it. You know, but once we got a little older, we had to go in the house. Even we still, you know, jump double dutch. I could not jump. I could turn. Like I was just getting there.
I got you.
Yeah, because the older kids were like teaching us how to do stuff. And before we got old enough to get too involved, because again, there was a lot of things going on the block that I was not aware of because it wasn't safe. We were pulled into the house. So
yeah, it's like, nah, it can't be out and about.
Yeah, some of my activity got cut short, but I'm alive and well, so I'm not really gonna complain about that.
Yeah, nah, it's crazy because like that's actually one of the things they call social drivers of health. It's like one of them is your physical environment, one of the drivers, and how your physical environment accesses your ability to be healthy. Like that's a great explanation, right? Like you said, it wasn't necessarily the safest, and so there might have been a park there, but sure, should I be there? You know what I'm saying? Nah. Yeah. And I live that in a real way because at my my pops lived and lives in I just isn't long enough street. I can say this. Joy Road. I mean, I'll be giving out Pop's address, but Joy Road. So it's like he would say West Chicago. I'm like, nah, Joy Road, bro. But that's a whole inside joke from people from Detroit. So he, when we were there, so like, I bring up my sisters for example. If you go to my mom's crib, because my mom's is in the suburbs now of Detroit, and my pops is on Joy Road, which is like one of the most, dangerous people see as a more dangerous area. So if my sisters went there, there's no going outside. There's no when they were younger, it's like it's no going outside. Like it's a wrap. Ain't no going outside and go outside and run around and do whatever. They was at their mom's crib or my mom's crib. For sure you can do that.
Right.
You could be out running around and doing that and playing and riding your bike and doing that in third because again, it's the safety, right? Yeah. And so that context, that social context affects physical health. 100%. And then that becomes a mindset too. Right. Like if you outside playing all the time and doing this like that and you build that like habit up, that's going to be what you do versus
sitting in the house watching TV.
You know what I'm saying?
No sunlight.
Because we didn't own my pops, look, I went home the other day. I went there, I walked in, went to open the blinds. Like, no, you open the blinds. All people can see up in the house. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, just like, well, what did I do to your mindset? Like, so thinking about that, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you come at me all the time, but now I think about it, it's like, nah, because people can look in.
Yeah, that's true.
We weren't living in a tower. I wasn't trying to let people see me.
So, but anyway, I think that, so like the upbringing that way really affects like the mentality of physical health. And if I wasn't an athlete, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Right.
You know, physical health wise. It's like, it's just, that was, you needed to, and I was committed. Like, I didn't care where I was.
Right.
I was going to be ready to hoop.
Which is fair. I mean, education was my outlet and my way out. And
Mine's was sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Thankfully, I had one because Lord knows.
Yeah. So now, like, what's your fitness priorities now? And how do you see the differences? Like, and this is just, you know, speaking to our lived experience, right? But how do you witness the differences in, like, physical health for you personally and just for us as a culture? Like, what do you see?
That's an interesting question.
Let's kick it about it. You know?
Okay, if we gonna, like, be honest, we gonna be honest.
Oh, we keeping it real?
So
we can always edit this out.
Right. But, like, we all know our, like, or not all of us, but some of us know our medical history in the family and what's there and what's, like, we could easily get or fall into. And it's very big with diabetes in my family, right?
Gotcha.
And we know, and I'm talking type 1, like it's genetic one, right? Where you have to take insulin and, you know, the dangers of losing toes or, you know, not being able to see, there's so many health risks for that. And I want to say in our culture, is like, I almost praise to be like the big mama who's like much larger and cooks all the food with all the butter and the lard. You know what I mean? But like,
the lard.
Someone had said lard to me yesterday. I was like, yes, you remember Crisco? Come on, deep fry that chicken up in that lard. I'm telling you. So it was like, I'm saying it's like Soul Food, the movie. Like, you see the family come together and they eat the rich food. It's just,
you funny.
It's that's crazy. And I feel like we all have that. Like, everyone got a grandma, auntie, or somebody like that. That's just how. Don't come for them. Don't come for the Aunt Jemima this. But I'm saying it's
that's funny.
expected type, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that soul food be hitting.
You ain't never lied.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I haven't seen health, like when it comes to nutrition or fitness, become a thing of like, we need to do better.
Yeah.
It's always like you know, we all gonna die or it's fine. It's life.
Yeah. You know? Like a YOLO type mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's been a few years now. I don't even remember when I got to the point where I'm like, I need my health together. Yeah. You know, and I wasn't physically feeling well. Like, I felt sick. Like, my body just was sick. And nothing's wrong with me, praise the Lord. But, you know, I was like, I'm not the best I can be. And now fitness is so important to me. I'm literally forcing people to go to the gym. Sure. I am harassing those I love as much as possible. And I don't care. It's like, no, because one thing I did learn is as you age, you know, you lose so many different things from your body that you have to put back in. Yeah. And even the thought of falling and breaking a hip is so much easier to do when you haven't been like physically working out or 100%. Ensuring that your joints or your mobility.
100%.
Just that thought alone is like, no. Oh no, I need to ensure that it's not to look a certain way, it's literally to feel a certain way. I want to be able to age gracefully in a way that I am healthy and able to do all the things I need to do. You know what I mean? And it's so easy. Like, even when you get checked and it's like, oh yeah, this is tight. Do you know how hard it is for some people to just raise their hands over their head or their shoulders? And I'm like, I did not know. And it probably would feel that way for me if I didn't start working out a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my focus is right now. Just like health and wellness is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I kind of feel like, and again, this is just me seeing what I see. I think if we looked at the statistics right now, for like, if we took an age and say, all right, 35 and under Black folks, I would say that I think the mindset around that is becoming a lot more known and prioritized. To be honest, like I see a lot more of that in our culture than I think I did before. Like a priority around that. People are like, no, I'm gonna choose this over McDonald's, or no, I'm gonna do this instead of that. And again, a lot of that goes down to access and the way systemic poverty works. Some people don't have choices in that way.
Right.
If there's like a food desert where you can't go and actually get good healthy foods type.
Right.
Get
or
that.
Living in funds, you know,
all those
dollar
things.
Menu is always a lifesaver. It makes sense.
That was what we was, you know, for sure. Man, I used to be breaking down. We used to walk and leave school. We used to get lunch as a high school. We go right to Little Caesars or right to McDonald's, all that every time.
It's like McDonald's, 99 cent at Burger King, and the Chinese
I
store.
don't like BK like that. But yeah, okay.
Them Junior Whoppers though, and my apple pie, that was all I need.
Yeah, but that's not good though. We ain't gonna be promoting that out here. Don't eat that.
No, don't do it.
So yeah, yeah, it tastes good. But nah. So I would say I'm seeing that more. I'm seeing that a lot more. Like especially like through social media or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like the reinforcing of that.
Yeah.
Which I actually value. I appreciate that for our culture.
Which is probably because I think a lot of people have recognized the tie with your own mental health and mental wellness. It's like, yeah, they're tied together. Your physical health goes along with it.
100%.
So like exercising can help with the endorphins, which lowers your depression at times, the sunlight, all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so seeing that, and then for me, my personal journey is I almost take fitness for granted because I'm just
conditioned.
Yeah, yes. It's like that's a part to the point where if I don't work out, my days won't be good. Like, and you've seen this.
Yes, I have.
So if I don't,
it's not pleasant.
If I don't work out, it's almost like it's borderline the same way someone who might have some type of substance use disorder or an addiction or something, and like they don't get whatever it is that they need or whatever it is that they're actually addicted to, then you can see like the effects.
Yeah.
Like that's how I am if I don't work out. So this week, actually, as we speak, I missed a few workouts, and I'm like, I actually remember waking up this week and being mentally feeling overwhelmed, second guessing and I'm like, oh no, that's because I did not work out. It's crazy. Like it's not though. Actually, let me go back.
Yeah.
It's like a fact.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, I know I need that because my body is conditioned that way, and it releases endorphins. Like that's a fact. So I'm just so in line with that. Now I think my next journey is one: how do I help? I'm not trying to evangelize people to fitness, but help spread that news. But yo, this you can do this. But then also, how do I make sure I take it the next step further and not just be lifting and like actually focus on like things like you mentioned range of motion and mobility. And like I'm working out not to be an athlete anymore. Like it was before, it was to hoop.
Right.
And that's like the extreme level of, and I didn't even notice that, but that's an extreme level of fitness when you compare it to like the population in general.
Oh, I noticed.
Yo,
like you are a beast, and it was frightening. I was like, I will never get to that, and I don't want to get to that level.
The level of training though, like I didn't even realize how like much that was. Oh, that's a different level. So not to be there, but to like be healthy for everyday life. Like, make sure I'm flexible. Like if I slip on something and my leg goes a little bit further,
Your
I'm not
reflexes.
I'm not pulling a hamstring. I'm like, if I gotta hit the deck and then what I'm saying, I could do that. If I need to climb up on something, I go outside and it's a dog loose. Can I climb up on the crib? I gotta be able to do all that. Can I lift these boxes upstairs? So that's what I'm like, I want to be fit for life.
Yes. I love that.
For sure.
I mean, even people don't mention or talk about this, but people struggle walking.
Yeah,
like walking can hurt
legit.
physically in your feet, in your back. And I have been there, and it's not pleasant. And so just the ability to walk without pain goes so far for me. And I'm like, yes, I want that. Or it's something to see like 7-year-olds who are lifting their groceries and taking them in. Fine, because they've been working out and doing all these things to strengthen their core and all that stuff. Like I'm trying to go to Pilates with a friend and trial that out because I know there's different like parts of me that needs that range of motion. You see, like I'm getting
the Pilates
because all the wellness, not just one aspect. Don't just train your arms and wish the best for your legs.
When I think of Pilates, I think of like tight shorts and tank tops and.
He act like he don't know me.
Nah, like I'd be like Richard Simmons.
Oh my gosh, that's like more aerobics.
Oh, that's what that is? Okay, that's what I think Pilates. But yo,
I'll show you videos.
Off camera, hit me with that. But yeah, and then you know what else? Not saying that.
I'm about to say.
I actually also like want to start to do what's that? Oh, I want to get like a Peloton. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging.
But I saw your face.
Guys, would I ever judge my best friend out loud?
So let me think if I want to get Peloton or something like that. I want to get something that I can like this is what I actually want. Wake up and do cardio. Because if I had to say one thing I don't like to do, and it's run. Like I've never enjoyed running. It's probably from hooping. Like it's conditioning. Not even being funny. When you would get in trouble, If you was late, you did something that was out of line, you messed something up. Okay, on the line, you had to run sprints. So I like running hooping or running doing something, but just running, so I can just wake up and do it, and there's no like excuse. Like, okay, my work coming up, I got to get to work, so I just do cardio next never. Yeah. Then if I could just have it there, I want to get that. So I say Peloton because I haven't even, I think maybe I've done it once at the gym because they got a machine there. So I'm just saying that just to say it. It might not be the best, but I just hear about it all the time.
There is no judgment. I know people
it's okay. I don't think you're judging me.
Good.
But
I know people who have it and they do it daily. So, I mean, they seem to love it.
The Peloton? Yeah, it's expensive though. Is it expensive?
Yep.
How much?
I don't know. I'm not looking into getting it. So that's how you know I don't.
You don't want nothing to do with the Peloton.
I absolutely don't. You know what I prefer? I prefer to walk because it's so low impact on your joints and your knees or whatever. However, when it's winter or when the sun is down by 4:30, I'm not trying to be walking out in these streets. What I look like, mad expensive, ain't it?
Oh, the Peloton, folk brands. Let me tell you what.
You know how much?
$3,495. So you know what? Actually, I don't really want a Peloton.
Nah, you don't need that.
I can just walk outside.
You can walk up and down the stairs. You good?
You know what? On second thought, it's okay. But yes, nah, I'm gonna pass on the Peloton, y'all. It's y'all good.
Like, I would rather a rower, a row machine. But
100%.
But I would just rather do that.
Oh, my moms do that. You know, she be on it.
I'm going to go to a class, mama. I promise. I'm going to come one time.
Okay, last thing on this, then we can get back to like what we're talking about. So, we know it'd be cold.
Nah.
It's like, this is mad futuristic, but it's just like these virtual rooms that you do different things. Like, you can do boxing, you can do hooping, you can do whatever. And they have it's like virtual reality. And you can do the things that you would do if you're there. And they're like almost, it's kind of how the Peloton is, where you can look and see what's happening on the screen, but you got the glasses on. It's like VR.
Doesn't it already exist?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that would be like, that's what I would want now.
Oh, that's what you want is what you're saying.
Now, we probably got to crawl before you can walk.
It probably ain't 4 bands, right?
Yeah, I say, now we getting up. Let me get my own, let me take some baby steps. But that's what I want to get to. Because then you can do whatever you want to do.
Oh, man.
You just be healthy. Feel me?
Yeah. Just get some physical activity. That's all. What they say, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, that's really all it be though. Like so to this point, somebody who you said you didn't grow up in that way, and now I would say you are you work out.
Thank you.
You be
Definitely
on that.
Lift.
Yeah, you be on that. How did you get there?
How did I get there?
Like what if somebody was listening? Like, yo, I want to do that. Let me throw away the Big Mac. I'm ready to get to it. What steps would you say based on your journey? Yeah, good for them.
Look, there is nothing worth having that you get alone. And when you don't know what to do, you have to seek help. I had myself a trainer, right? And I was at the state because this was my encourager right here who really helped me get my life together.
Yes.
I was at a state where I just had no clue what I was doing. And I was willing to listen to whoever knew what they were doing and tell me what to do. But I was also so afraid of being seen as such a big person and seeing myself that way that I was like, okay, I'm willing to go one time a week. So I got a trainer, met one time a week. And as I kept doing it, it wasn't as scary or painful as I thought. And I was like, I wanted to come twice a week. Started doing that. And before you know, I was coming 3 times a week. And once I outgrew that training because it was beginner, it's almost like Planet Fitness, that's like the beginner level, which is fine. Why not? Start somewhere. I was like, I need more. So I found a different trainer who was about mobility and flexibility and ensuring that you're progressing. And was very detailed. So I got a new trainer and I started doing that. And once I got to the point where I know how to train myself, I've been doing that because it's important to me. You know what I mean? Like if he misses a few days, he's off kilter. If I miss a few days, my body is angry with me and telling me, what is this? Go back. We need it.
Gang, what you got going
and
on.
I crave it and I have to go. I don't always want to go, but I know that I regret not going. I never regret when I actually go and do the workout. So
talking that talk.
Thank you.
So it's like you took the stairs, like you built it up.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't
one
a quick
step
fix.
at a time.
It was building it up. You're like, all right, first, anything worth having, doing alone is difficult. Like, all right, let me go ahead and get someone who can help me build to where I want to be. Yeah, especially if it's not like everybody got the expertise. If it's not that, get somebody who.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
A little help goes a long way.
A long way, y'all. Did that up. till you got to the point where it's like, all right, I've outgrown this.
Mm-hmm.
Got someone else who can take you to the next level, and now you're doing it because it's a part of your like internal, like you need that. Your compass is about work. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
I love that, y'all. Okay.
What about you? You work with all kinds of people. You've coached.
Yeah. It's really what you just said. Like if I'm working with somebody and they have an end goal, it's like, all right, start with the end in mind. What is your end? What you trying to get to, right? And let's talk about that. Like, and sometimes that's not clear to people. Sometimes it is. If it's not clear, all right, well, let's just start though, right? That's and then it'll be more clear. It's like, all right, well, I don't know, it's mad foggy. Well, if you keep walking, it'll probably be less fog. You know what I mean? So let's at least start going. Let's just not stand there and just be, oh, it's foggy, I won't move. Like, okay, well, nothing will ever change. So that's one of the two things. Either start with the end in mind, you don't see the end, just start.
Right. Do it afraid is what he said.
You know what I'm saying?
It's foggy, you can't see. It's okay. Keep going.
Keep going, yo. And they can listen. If you stay here for sure, you know nothing will change. So you at least should try to move. You feel me?
Literally.
You did. So I think that's the first thing with people. And then it's like slow building. Like those early wins where you see, oh, it's not that scary. Oh, it's not that hard. Or I can do this. You build that up. And you look up, it's been like 6-7 months. Now you're looking to do the next thing.
Yeah.
Now it's been a year and a half. It's like, dang, I'm actually good at this. Now you build up. And so, but the hardest part is that beginning stage. People getting through that initial threshold. And once you get through that, man.
Straight.
Yeah, because now it's not as scary. Because a lot of it is mentally. It's like mentally it seems like insurmountable. And it's like, well, don't think about all that.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just say what you want the end goal to be. Cool. We know we're going in that direction. Let's just take it one step at a time. And you'll look up and you're there.
Right.
You know?
I will also say for those who are so afraid of being in a gym or in a place because they don't look fit or, you know, there's so many fit people, it's really more kind people there than you would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are genuinely happy to just see someone working out. Like no one is actually judgmental. If anything, I get happy to see the same people.
Right. It's a community.
Literally. And they'll speak to you randomly or say something or even compliment something because they see that you've been working.
Absolutely.
And it's like, they are way more fit than I've ever been, but you're complimenting me. I mean, there's something to it where it's just like, thank you for seeing me, acknowledging me as a human, and encouraging me too.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no judgment as much as some people feel like there probably will be. It's like, nah.
Yeah, and it's mad like different kinds of gyms. You know, it's different. It's gyms for everybody out there. Like some people might not, the Planet Fitness might not be for some folks. LA Fitness or Eastporter might not be. They got something, at least in Rochester, where it's like the rack for women or something like that. It's like all women in the gym, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a bunch of different things you could do, you know? So, yeah, you can get there. We can get there. You feel me? And then you know what else? People might be here listening right now. You know what they're thinking? What in the world are they talking about? Listen, we might be right.
We might be wrong.
But at the end of the day, we just
young, black, and figuring it out.